Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the crystalline window of her office in the human embassy, watching the three suns of Nexus Prime paint the city's spires in shades of gold and crimson. The datapad in her hand displayed information that made her blood run cold despite the warmth of the alien suns. "Run the decryption sequence again, HFY." She commanded her AI assistant, her fingers tightening around the device's edges. The holographic display flickered as lines of code cascaded through the air. "Confirmed, Ambassador. The genetic sequences match across all tested species. The Empire's enhancement initiative is not theoretical, it's active and ongoing." Araya's voice remained calm, a stark contrast to the gravity of the situation. Sarah's mind raced through the implications. The diplomatic mission that had brought her to Nexus Prime was supposed to be straightforward: negotiate humanity's entry into the Galactic Assembly. Instead, she had stumbled upon evidence of the Empire's darkest secret. They weren't just studying other species, they were harvesting genetic material, conducting experiments, creating weapons out of living beings. A subtle vibration from her neural implant alerted her to movement in the embassy's outer corridors. The Imperial Guards were changing shifts earlier than scheduled. Her heart rate spiked. "ARIA, begin Protocol Omega. Encrypt everything we've found and prepare for quantum transmission to Earth Command." Sarah moved swiftly to her desk, activating the embassy's internal defense systems with a thought through her neural link. "Ambassador, I'm detecting multiple unauthorized access attempts to our security grid," ARIA reported. "Imperial cybernetics signatures. They know." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Of course they knew. The Empire's surveillance was legendary, but humanity had prepared for this possibility. Every embassy was equipped with quantum transmission capabilities, hidden beneath layers of mundane communication technology. The distant sound of boots on polished floors echoed through the building. Sarah's fingers flew across holographic interfaces as she compiled the data. The genetic experiments were only part of it. There were lists of worlds marked for processing, species categorized by their potential for enhancement, and most damning of all, evidence that the Empire had been systematically eliminating races that showed too much promise. "Primary security barrier breached," ARIA announced. "Estimated time to inner chamber breach: 3 minutes." Sarah activated the quantum transmitter, hidden within what appeared to be a mundane art piece, a gift from Earth's finest artisans to the Empire. "Begin transmission sequence. Priority 1 message to Earth Command." The door to her office reverberated as something heavy impacted it. Sarah stood straight, smoothing her diplomatic uniform. The transmission was only halfway complete when the door's molecular structure began to break down under the Empire's advanced weaponry. "Ambassador, you should know." Araya's voice softened. "It has been an honor." "Thank you, Araya. Initiate final protocol." Sarah watched as her AI companion began its death sequence, destroying any trace of its existence that the Empire could exploit. The quantum transmission reached 80% as the door finally disintegrated. Imperial guards flooded into the room, their armor gleaming with an inner light that seemed to bend reality around them. Behind them stood High Inquisitor Vex, his cybernetically enhanced eyes fixing Sarah with an unblinking stare. "Ambassador Chen," his artificial voice reverberated through the room. "You have accessed restricted Imperial data. This is an act of espionage." Sarah glanced at the transmission status. 95%. She just needed a few more seconds. "What I've accessed," she replied, her voice steady, "is evidence of crimes against sentient beings. The people of Earth will know what you've done." The transmission completed just as Vex raised his hand. Sarah felt a curious sensation of peace. She had done her duty. Earth would be prepared. Her last thought, as the Inquisitor's neural disruptor reached for her mind, was of home, of cherry blossoms falling in Washington, D.C., where her journey had begun. The Empire would learn, too late, that humanity had never been as naive as they pretended to be. Sarah Chen's death would not be in vain. It would be the spark that ignited humanity's response to Imperial aggression. and that response would shake the galaxy to its foundations. General Marcus Zhang stood in Earth Command's Strategic Operations Center, watching as Ambassador Chen's final transmission played across the quantum displays. The room, buried 2 kilometers beneath the Himalayan mountains, hummed with controlled energy as the world's military leaders processed what they were seeing. Time since transmission receipt. Zhang's voice cut through the tense silence. 17 minutes, sir, his adjutant responded. All emergency coalition protocols are active. The Security Council is assembled and awaiting your assessment. Zhang nodded, his weathered features illuminated by the holographic data streaming around him. The Empire had broadcast Chen's execution across every known communication frequency, expecting to terrorize humanity into submission. Instead, they had given Earth exactly what it needed. Confirmation. Begin Phase Omega, Zhang ordered. Authorization code. Sleeping Giant. Throughout the solar system, dormant systems flickered to life. On Mars, massive hangar doors hidden beneath red sand slid open, revealing squadrons of shipped humanity had claimed it couldn't build. Around Jupiter's moons, energy signatures flared as cloaking fields deactivated, exposing defense platforms that had been watching and waiting for years. In the Operations Center, Admiral Helena Santos of the Brazilian Space Command stepped forward. The Lazarus fleet is reporting ready, sir. All ships showing green status. The Empire believes they caught us unprepared, Zhang said, addressing the assembled command staff. That's exactly what we wanted them to think. Ambassador Chen's data confirms everything we suspected about their genetic programs. Operation Watchful Eye has paid off. Every concession in our diplomatic talks was designed to hide our true capabilities. The massive display shifted to show Earth's orbital space. Hundreds of satellites that had appeared civilian suddenly transformed, weapon systems emerging from seemingly harmless communications arrays. The planet's defensive grid, hidden in plain sight, stood ready. Signal from Luna Base, a technician announced. The quantum entanglement network is fully operational. We have instantaneous communication across all military assets in the system. Zhang allowed himself a small smile. The Empire's quantum technology was a pale shadow of what humanity had achieved. They had discovered the principles decades ago, but had grown complacent, never pushing the boundaries. Humanity, ever paranoid, ever innovative, had taken it far beyond what the Empire thought possible. Message from the Security Council. Sir, his adjutant reported. They've ratified the Emergency Coalition Charter. All Earth nations are now operating under unified command. First time in human history. A new alert flashed across the displays. Imperial ships have been detected entering the Kuiper Belt, probably expecting to find minimal resistance. They would soon learn otherwise. Launch the Phantom Protocols, Zhang commanded. Across Earth's cities, civilian centers began their carefully planned transformations. Buildings shifted, revealing hidden military installations. Underground facilities that had masqueraded as transit systems became command centers. Years of preparation, masked as infrastructure improvements, paid off in a synchronized global metamorphosis. Sir, Admiral Santos interrupted. Imperial communication intercepted. They're laughing at us. Their commander is telling his fleet that Earth's defenses are primitive, based on what their spies reported. Zhang touched a control panel, bringing up an image of Sarah Chen. Her last known photograph showed her standing proud in her diplomatic uniform, representing the best of humanity. They thought we were diplomatic naffs, playing at joining their galactic community. They never understood that every concession we made was calculated. Every weakness we showed was planned. He turned to face the assembled leaders of Earth's combined military forces. Ambassador Chen died to get us this intelligence. Now we show the Empire why humanity survived centuries of internal conflict to reach the stars. We didn't just survive. We learned. We adapted. We prepared. All units reporting ready, sir, his adjutant announced. Awaiting your command. Zhang straightened his uniform, thinking of all the years of preparation, The countless exercises and contingency plans, the hidden technological advances. Humanity had been ready for this moment since they first detected alien signals and realized they weren't alone in the universe. "Send the order," he said. "Operation Titan's Wake is now active. Let's show the Empire what humanity can really do." Captain Maya Patel watched the massive Imperial dreadnought through her ship's quantum imaging system. The HMS Artemis, her relatively small vessel, lurked in the shadow of an ice-laden asteroid, its adaptive camouflage rendering it nearly invisible against the frozen surface. "Status on the gravity web?" she asked, her fingers dancing across the neural interface controls. Lieutenant Chen, Sarah Chen's nephew, checked his readings. "Web is at 98% charge, Captain. They still haven't detected the anchors we planted in their patrol route." Maya nodded, remembering the briefing from Earth Command. The Empire's ships relied heavily on predictive AI for their combat maneuvers. Their tactical computers were exceptional at calculating traditional space warfare scenarios, but humanity had no intention of fighting a traditional war. "Signal the Wolf Pack," she ordered. "Execute Operation Labyrinth." Across the asteroid field, 5 other Earth ships activated their systems. The Empire had dismissed these smaller vessels as scout ships, incapable of threatening their capital ships. That assumption was about to cost them dearly. The Imperial dreadnought maintained its course, its crew confident in their superior technology. Their sensors showed nothing unusual about the asteroid field they were passing through. The Empire's arrogance had led them to dismiss the possibility that humans could have developed better stealth systems than their own. "Gravity web activating in 3, 2, 1. Chen counted down. Suddenly, the space around the dreadnought warped. The carefully placed gravity projectors, disguised as simple chunks of ice and rock, created a complex web of intersecting gravitational fields. The massive Imperial ship found itself caught in a 3-dimensional maze of conflicting forces. "Their shields are adapting," Maya's tactical officer reported, "but their AI can't predict the pattern. It's too chaotic for their systems to process." Maya allowed herself a tight smile. The Empire's reliance on AI and automation was a weakness humanity had identified early. Their systems excelled at handling known variables, but struggled with the kind of controlled chaos that human minds could improvise. "Launch the resonance torpedoes," she ordered. "Let's show them why we studied chaos theory so extensively." The Artemis and her sister ships launched their weapons simultaneously. The torpedoes, carrying experimental quantum warheads, slipped through the gaps in the gravity web. Each one's trajectory was slightly different, guided by human operators who could adapt to the changing gravitational landscape in ways the Empire's computers couldn't match. The Imperial dreadnought's shields flared as they tried to adjust, but the torpedoes weren't aimed at the ship itself. They detonated in a precise pattern around it, creating a cascade of quantum interference that played havoc with the vessel's highly automated systems. "Their primary AI core is attempting to reboot," Chen reported, excitement creeping into his voice. "Shield harmonics are destabilizing." Maya keyed her comm system. "All ships, execute attack pattern Euler 7. Remember your training. Be unpredictable. Be creative. Don't let their tactical computers get a lock on your strategy." The Wolf Pack attacked from 6 different vectors, each ship flying a randomized pattern that looked chaos, but was actually a carefully choreographed dance. Human pilots, their reactions enhanced by neural interfaces, but not replaced by AI, demonstrated why Earth had maintained human control of crucial systems. The dreadnought's weapons fired, but their targeting solutions were based on predictive algorithms that couldn't handle the apparent randomness of the Earth ship's movements. Maida watched as the massive energy beams sliced through empty space where her ships had been microseconds before. "Status of their communication systems?" she asked, guiding the Artemis through a series of maneuvers that would have torn apart a larger vessel. "Still scrambled, Captain. They can't call for reinforcements through the quantum interference." Maya took a deep breath, remembering her oath to uphold Ambassador Chen's legacy. The Empire was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their hidden technology or their preparation. It was their ability to think outside the rigid structures that the Empire relied upon. "Prepare boarding pods," she ordered. "Let's show them what happens when they face humans up close and personal." Commander James Rodriguez moved through the crystalline corridors of the Imperial Research Station, his quantum phase armor adapting to match the translucent surfaces around him. Behind him, 5 members of Earth's Shadow Operative Team maintained perfect formation, their movements silent despite the heavy equipment they carried. Atmospheric pressure dropping in Section 7. Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka reported through their secure neural link. "They're trying to flush us out." James smiled beneath his helmet. The Empire still hadn't realized that human special forces could operate in conditions that would kill most species. Their sealed suits weren't just armor. They were fully self-contained survival systems designed for environments far more hostile than vacuum. "Continue to objective," he subvocalized. "They're following the standard Imperial containment protocols, just like intelligence predicted." The team's target lay 3 levels below, a quantum database containing detailed information about the Empire's genetic enhancement programs. Ambassador Chen had discovered its existence, but hadn't been able to access its contents before her execution. A squad of Imperial guards rounded the corner ahead, their cybernetically enhanced bodies encased in what they considered impenetrable armor. They raised their energy rifles, expecting the intruders to retreat or seek cover. Instead, the human team charged forward. The Empire had never encountered soldiers who combined advanced technology with aggressive close-quarters combat techniques. Their rifles discharged, but the humans were already inside their minimum effective range. "Old school," James transmitted as he executed a perfect judo throw, using the Imperial Guard's own enhanced strength against him. The guard's armor cracked against the crystalline floor, its wearer unconscious before he realized what had happened. The rest of the team moved with similar efficiency, centuries of human martial arts proving devastatingly effective against opponents who relied too heavily on technological advantages. Within seconds, the entire Imperial squad lay neutralized. "They're introducing nerve gas into the ventilation system," Tanaka reported. "Environmental toxins increasing." "Maintain course," James ordered, leading his team toward a sealed security door. "Dr. Zhang, you're up." Dr. Lai Zong, their science specialist, stepped forward. Unlike the Empire, which separated its warriors from its scientists, humanity had learned to combine both roles. Zhang's armor concealed not just weapons, but an array of specialized scientific instruments. "Their security systems are elegant," Zhang commented, his fingers moving across a holographic interface. "But they assume any attacker would try to break their codes. They never considered we might simply rewrite the underlying physics." A small device attached to the door began pulsing with quantum frequencies. Rather than hacking the security system, it created a localized field where the door's molecular structure temporarily ceased to exist. 30 seconds until their sensors detect the anomaly, Zhang reported as the team passed through the gap. "They still haven't figured out how we're doing this." The database chamber stretched before them, its crystalline servers humming with stored information. Imperial emergency systems blared, but the facility's automated defenses remained confused by the humans' unpredictable tactics. "Beginning download," Zhang announced, connecting quantum storage devices to multiple access points. "They're trying to corrupt the data, but they can't outpace our quantum encryption." James positioned his team in a defensive formation, their sensors detecting increasing numbers of Imperial forces converging on their position. The Empire was about to learn another lesson about human combat doctrine. Cornered human soldiers didn't surrender. They became even more dangerous. "Incoming transmission from command," Tanaka reported. "Captain Patel's wolf pack has engaged the Imperial fleet in orbit. We have 15 minutes until extraction." James checked his weapon systems, the neural interface confirming all systems operational. "Plenty of time. The Empire thinks they've trapped us. Let's show them why humans are never truly cornered." The first wave of Imperial elite guards burst through the chamber's main entrance, expecting to find desperate intruders. Instead, they encountered something their combat computers couldn't process. Humans fighting with a combination of advanced technology, tactical brilliance, and the accumulated combat wisdom of centuries of warfare. The Empire was about to learn that humanity's special forces operated on the edge of possibility, and that edge was sharper than anything they had ever encountered. Dr. Aisha Rahman stood before the Council of the Aquilian Federation, her holographic form projected across 20 light-years through Earth's quantum network. The crystalline beings before her shimmered with internal light, their neural patterns expressing both interest and skepticism. Your evidence of Imperial genetic manipulation is compelling, the first speaker's thoughts translated through the quantum interface. But the Empire's reach is vast. What makes you believe resistance is possible? Aisha gestured, and a holographic space between them filled with tactical data streams. Because humanity doesn't fight alone. Look at what we've achieved in just 3 months. The display showed dozens of successful operations. Imperial supply lines disrupted by wolf pack raiders, genetic research facilities liberated by shadow operatives, and most importantly, thousands of enslaved beings freed from enhancement laboratories. The Aquilian Federation's crystalline technology is unmatched, Aisha continued. Combined with Earth's quantum innovations, we could establish a communication network the Empire cannot detect, let alone breach. The second speaker's crystal matrix pulsed with cautious hope. Their people had suffered under Imperial restrictions for centuries, forced to limit their natural ability to share consciousness across vast distances. The Empire claims humans are primitive, the second speaker observed. Yet you mask your true capabilities. Why? Aisha smiled, activating another holographic sequence. Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak when you are strong gives you an advantage. Watch this. The display showed Captain Patel's wolf pack executing a precision strike on an Imperial dampening array. The massive structure had been suppressing the natural telepathic abilities of the Meridian species. As it fell, millions of minds linked together for the first time in generations. We don't seek to rule, Aisha explained. Earth wants allies, not subjects. Every species the Empire suppressed has unique abilities they fear. Together, we are stronger than their artificial enhancements could ever be. The first speaker's crystalline form resonated with decision. The Aquilians have watched, waiting for this moment. Your Ambassador Chen's sacrifice showed us humanity's courage. Your subsequent actions prove your wisdom. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Dr. John coordinated with the silicon-based Volux, their natural computational abilities augmenting Earth's quantum networks. Commander Rodriguez's teams trained resistance fighters from a dozen species, each bringing unique biological or technological advantages to the Alliance. Incoming transmission. Aisha's AI assistant whispered in her neural link. The Meridian Collective Consciousness has voted. They're committing their psychic abilities to the cause. Aisha updated the tactical display. Red markers showing Imperial control were giving way to green zones of liberation. The Empire had never faced a coordinated resistance because they had always prevented their subjects from communicating freely. The Empire believes strength comes from control. Aisha addressed the Council. Humanity learned differently. True strength comes from unity, from combining our diverse abilities and cultures. We don't need to enforce compliance because we offer something better. Freedom to be yourselves. The entire Aquilian Council resonated in harmony, their crystalline forms broadcasting agreement across their solar system. We have hidden our true capabilities as you have. The Empire never knew we could extend our consciousness sharing to organic minds. Aisha's eyes widened at the implication. If the Aquilians could link organic consciousness through their crystalline network, combined with Earth's quantum communications. Together, the first speaker declared, we will show the Empire that their greatest mistake was believing diversity was weakness. Your Ambassador Chen died protecting all species' right to remain unique. We will honor her sacrifice. In orbit above the Aquilian homeworld, Captain Patel's wolf pack decloaked, revealing ships modified with crystalline technology. The Empire's greatest nightmare was becoming reality. Humanity wasn't just fighting back, they were uniting the galaxy. Aisha straightened her diplomatic uniform, thinking of Sarah Chen. The ambassador had died believing in the possibility of a united galaxy. Now, species by species, that dream was becoming reality. "Welcome to the Alliance," she said. "Let's show the Empire what real strength looks like." Admiral Helena Santos stood in Earth's orbital command station, watching as the largest Imperial fleet ever assembled emerged from hyperspace. The Titan fleet, 10,000 ships strong, filled the stellar displays with their overwhelming presence. At their center, the Imperial command vessel, Emperor's Will, dwarfed everything around it, its crystalline structure gleaming with internal energy. They brought their entire ceremonial fleet, General Zhang observed through the quantum link. The Empire is desperate to make an example of Earth. Helena's lips curved into a subtle smile. Then let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget. Status of Operation Chimera. All systems ready, her tactical officer reported. The Aquilian crystal network is synchronized with our quantum grid. The Meridian psychics are in position. The Voleks have integrated their computing cores with our defense systems. The Imperial fleet moved with mechanical precision, their formations perfect, their approach exactly as their tactical doctrines demanded. They had no way of knowing they were following a script written by human strategists months ago. They're broadcasting their demands. Communications reported. The Imperial High Commander says Earth has 1 hour to surrender and submit to genetic enhancement processing. Helena opened a channel to all Earth forces. Remember your training. Remember Ambassador Chen. The Empire thinks they know what humanity is capable of. Today, we show them how wrong they are. The Imperial fleet launched their first wave, 10,000 automated strike craft, their AI pilots executing textbook attack patterns. They expected to encounter minimal resistance from a primitive planetary defense system. Instead, they flew into carefully prepared killing zones. The supposedly primitive satellites revealed their true nature, quantum weapons that could track and target across 11 dimensions. The Aquilian crystals amplified Earth's defensive screens far beyond what Imperial sensors could comprehend. First wave has entered the Meridian psychic field, Tactical reported. Their AI pilots are confused. The Meridians are broadcasting false sensor data directly into their cognitive matrices. Helena watched as the automated strike craft began to falter, their perfect formations dissolving into chaos as their pilots received contradictory information from every sensor. The Empire had never considered that psychic abilities could affect artificial intelligence. The Emperor's Will is moving into position, Zhang reported. They're preparing their main weapon. According to the data Qin transmitted, it can crack a planet's crust. Right where we want them, Helena responded. Execute Phase 2. Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. The asteroid belt seemed to come alive as mining facilities revealed their true purpose. Jupiter's moons launched salvos of quantum torpedoes. Even the sun itself played its part, as human solar stations unleashed carefully controlled plasma streams. The Imperial commander's voice boomed across all frequencies. Your primitive defenses cannot hope to. The transmission cut off as the first wave of quantum torpedoes struck. The Emperor's Will's shields held, but the massive vessel shuddered as its sensors were overwhelmed by attacks coming from every direction. Volek's computing cores report the enemy AI is attempting to adapt, Tactical announced, shifting attack patterns to compensate. Helena touched her neural interface, connecting directly with Earth's defense grid. Around her, other commanders did the same, their human intuition guiding the automated systems in ways the Empire's pure AI approach couldn't match. The Aquilians are detecting stress fractures in their shield matrix, communications reported. The combined quantum crystalline attack is working. Through the quantum link, Helena felt the coordinated efforts of a dozen species working together. The Empire had sought to enforce uniformity across the galaxy. Instead, they had created the conditions for unprecedented cooperation. "Launch the wolf packs," she ordered. "All of them." From hidden docks around Mars, Earth's strike fleets emerge. Leading them was Captain Patel's original wolf pack, their ships now enhanced with technology from half a dozen allied species. The Empire was about to learn that their greatest weapon, their massive fleet, was about to become their greatest vulnerability. High Inquisitor Vex stood in the Imperial Palace's central chamber, his cybernetic implants struggling to process the flood of incoming data. Around him, the Empire's most powerful leaders watched in stunned silence as another strategic command center went dark. "Impossible," Supreme Commander Zax hissed through augmented vocal cords. "Our enhanced troops are superior in every way. How are they being defeated by naturals?" The holographic displays told a different story. Across the galaxy, Imperial control was unraveling. The Titan fleet's failure at Earth had sparked something unprecedented. Hope. And hope, the Empire was learning, was more dangerous than any weapon. "Our neural networks are being compromised," a technical advisor reported, his enhanced mind linked directly to the Imperial data streams. "The Aquilian crystalline network. It's allowing the humans to broadcast truth directly into our communication systems." Vex watched as classified footage began playing across every screen in the palace. The genetic enhancement programs, the forced experiments, the suppression of natural evolution, all exposed. But worse were the new images. Imperial elite troops surrendering to human forces, being treated with dignity instead of execution. "Cut all communications," Zax ordered, but it was too late. Dr. Aisha Rahman's voice echoed through the palace's quantum communication systems, impossible to silence. "To all Imperial citizens and enhanced soldiers, you deserve to know the truth. The Empire fears natural development because it cannot control it. But look at what we've achieved together." The displays showed scenes from liberated worlds. Meridian psychics teaching their arts openly, Aquilian consciousness networks expanding across space, Volux silicon minds merging harmoniously with organic cognition. And everywhere, humans working alongside aliens, combining technologies and abilities in ways the Empire had claimed were impossible. "Our enhancement programs make us stronger," Vex declared, but his voice lacked conviction. On a dozen screens, Commander Rodriguez's shadow operatives demonstrated how natural human adaptability could overcome artificial enhancement. "You claimed Earth was primitive," Rahman continued, her transmission cutting through every attempt to block it. "But we knew something you forgot. True strength comes from diversity, from choice, from allowing each species to develop naturally." In orbital shipyards across Imperial space, enhanced troops watched footage of Captain Patel's wolf pack fighting alongside crystalline ships and psychically guided vessels. They saw how the combined fleets moved with an organic grace their own rigid formations couldn't match. "The genetic enhancement protocols are failing," the technical advisor reported, panic creeping into his artificially modulated voice. "Something about the human quantum field. It's destabilizing the neural suppressants." Vex felt it himself. The iron control that kept enhanced soldiers loyal was slipping. Decades of suppressed individuality began surfacing in millions of minds. The Empire had created perfect soldiers, but they'd forgotten that those soldiers were still thinking beings. Through quantum-enhanced feeds, the palace watched as Admiral Santos led the combined fleet in another decisive victory. Imperial ships, their crews beginning to question their orders, faced opponents who fought with conviction rather than programming. "They're not just defeating us," Zax whispered, his enhanced mind finally grasping the truth. "They're showing our own people a better way." The footage shifted to Earth's orbital defense of their homeworld. The Empire had expected a primitive species fighting desperately for survival. Instead, they had found humans fighting to liberate the galaxy, offering friendship instead of subjugation. "Your empire is not falling to superior weapons," Rahman's voice concluded. "It's falling because you never understood that strength comes in many forms. Ambassador Chen died trying to show you this truth. Her sacrifice showed us all a better path. In the palace's central chamber, Vex watched as his own enhanced troops began removing their neural control implants. The Empire had spent centuries trying to perfect their subjects through force. They had never considered that natural evolution, guided by free will and cooperation, might create something far more powerful than their artificial enhancements could achieve. The age of the Empire was ending, not with a bang, but with the quiet sound of chains breaking across the galaxy. The Great Hall of Unity, constructed from a perfect blend of Earth steel and Aquilian crystal, floated in high orbit above a transformed Nexus Prime. Dr. Aisha Rahman stood at the same window where Ambassador Chen had made her fateful discovery 1 year ago. But now, instead of Imperial warships, the view showed vessels from 100 species moving freely through space. The last Imperial enhancement facility has been converted, General Zhang reported, his hologram shimmering with quantum clarity beside her. The Meridian healers are helping the enhanced soldiers recover their natural neural patterns. Aisha nodded, watching as a Wolfpack squadron escorted a group of crystalline ships through a practice maneuver. Captain Patel had transformed her tactical innovations into training programs, teaching the new combined fleet how to blend different species' strengths into harmonious operation. Ambassador Chen would have loved to see this, she said softly, touching the memorial plaque that dominated the hall's entrance. The plaque, crafted from earth marble and Aquilian crystal, told the story of one diplomat's sacrifice and the galaxy-changing events it had triggered. Intelligence update from Commander Rodriguez's team. Her neural link chimed. The former High Inquisitor Vex has requested a meeting. He's undergone voluntary de-enhancement, says he wants to help with the restoration efforts. Through the quantum network, Aisha felt the ripples of change spreading across the galaxy. The Volix silicon mines had developed programs to help former Imperial worlds transition to self-governance. The Meridians were teaching other species how to unlock their natural potential. Earth's scientists worked alongside alien researchers, combining their knowledge instead of hoarding it. Admiral Santos reports the combined fleet is ready for the ceremony. Zhang added, "Every member species is represented." Aisha turned from the window as the hall began filling with delegates. Some walked on legs, others floated on gravitational fields, and still others existed as pure energy contained in crystalline matrices. Unity, they had learned, didn't mean uniformity. The human concept of democracy has proven surprisingly adaptable, noted the first speaker of the Aquilian Federation, his crystalline form resonating with appreciation. Who would have thought that such different species could find common ground in self-determination? The main doors opened, admitting Captain Patel and Commander Rodriguez. Their uniforms now bore the symbol of the Galactic Coalition, a spiral galaxy cradled by diverse hands, tentacles, and energy fields. Behind them came Dr. Zhang, his scientific achievements in quantum crystalline integration having opened new frontiers of cooperation. "We're receiving a transmission," the communications officer announced. "The former Empire's outer worlds. They're requesting membership in the coalition." Aisha stepped onto the central platform, her image projected across thousands of worlds through the combined power of quantum networks and crystalline consciousness sharing. The galaxy waited, species that had once been enemies now united in common cause. 1 year ago, she began, humanity faced a choice. We could have used our hidden strength to become the new empire. Instead, we chose a harder path, the path of unity through diversity. The assembled delegates watched as holographic displays showed their combined achievements. Freed worlds flourishing under self-governance, former enemies working together on scientific discoveries, trade routes flowing freely between all species. Ambassador Chen died protecting the right of all species to develop naturally, Aisha continued. She showed us that true strength comes not from enforced perfection, but from the beautiful chaos of natural evolution. The Empire sought to make everyone the same. We choose to celebrate our differences. As if to emphasize her words, a meridian consciousness cloud merged with the quantum network, sharing feelings of hope and unity across the gathered species. Aquilian crystals resonated in harmony, while Volux silicon mines processed and amplified the shared experience. "We are not an empire," Aisha concluded. "We are a coalition, not united by force or enhancement, but by choice and respect. Every species brings its own strengths, its own perspective, its own path to the future." Above Nexus Prime, the combined fleet began its ceremonial flight. Earth ships flew alongside crystalline vessels and energy beings, each moving in their own way but part of a greater whole. They had learned that the strongest chain wasn't one made of identical links, but one that celebrated each link's unique character. The galaxy was entering a new age, born from a single act of courage, and built on the simple truth that diversity was not weakness, it was the greatest strength of all.